Okay, so what we're doing today is we're going to find the equation of the straight line from its intercepts and slope. We're not really going to worry about that, but I'm going to show you mainly how to find the equation of the line anyway. It doesn't matter which method we do, so we're going to just show you. So we have seen, this is our format, our basic, so this is like the basic formula for our straight line, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to be popping this using these. So what we're mainly going to see, and you're going to see today, is like next term we'll be doing like scatter plots. Okay, so we'll have a variable here and a thing there. So instead of we won't have X and Y. So X and Y will be actual things like variables, like data. And then what we'll see is, so we'll have this straight line that we try to place in there, and it's used to predict. So we've been looking at that, and we know that this A value, it's going to be an actual number, and it's the y-intercept. So that's where it crosses on that y-axis. And we've also looked at this B value, which we've seen is the slope. And sometimes we used to refer it with the letter M. Now we're just using B. So remember, the slope is always the one with the letter attached to it. Yeah, the X or whatever. It might not always be X. It might be the variable name, whatever. Okay, so the slope has the letter attached to it. So even if... So why I say that, because technically you could write a formula. So we could write the formula. So say for this one, we might say y equals, I'm just going to make this up, 3 plus 2x. Or maybe they write 2x plus 3. That's the same thing. Yeah. So just remember, the gradient is the number with the x, and the number by itself is the y-intercept. All right, so let's have a look. So if we want to find, what we want to do is, we've got this graph here, the line, and we want to get the formula for that line. Okay, so one way we can do it is, obviously we can, if this is 0, so we might just write this here. So if this is 0, because sometimes our graphs don't say that. It's not 0 there. But if this is 0, you can read off the y-intercept. So what that means is, which is our A value. So here, if you look here, it's crossing through 2. So I'm going to say A equals 2. So our main aim is obviously to get this equation out, so A plus BX. So what we need to find is, we need to find A, and we'll also need to find B, that number. So at the moment, I've just found I can read off A, just because this graph has, it's showing me the y-intercept. So I'm going to say is 2. And now the only thing I need to do is find that B. Okay, so what you need to do, and it doesn't matter any graph, we need 2 points. Remember the B value we could say is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 2 points. Now, I already got the y-intercept, so I'm going to say 0, 2. There's 1 point. And look for one that the line goes nicely through. So it goes nicely through there. So I'm going to, because I can read that off. So that's 3.5 and 7. Okay, so remember the x is read first and then the y. So now I have 2 points there. So I might call this point 1 and this point 2. So into that formula where I see y2, I'm going to put 7, and my y1 was 2 over 3.5 minus 0. So we end up with 5 over 3.5. So you can just pop that on the calculator if we wanted to. So we'll quickly do that. Sorry. Go to a normal calc page. What was it? 5 divided by 3.5. So we get, I'm going to say 1 decimal place, so 1.4. So now I know what the B is. I'm going to pop it, I can write it all in. So 2 plus 1.4x. Okay, so there's the equation of that line. So what I'm going to show you now is we're going to show you how I probably just want you to do it every time. So we're not going to tell you to do a particular method, but this method was just showing you what we'd been doing, that the B value is the slope, and if you just needed the B. But what we're going to do is we're going to do this in our calculators, and we're going to use lists and spreadsheets because this is how we're going to be doing it in our next topics. So what we're going to do is when you get, all you need is 2 points. So you're going to create, because this one's called X and Y, so I'll just call the X and Y. And what I could do is I can put those 2 points in. So we said we had, when X was 0, we said Y was 2. And then we said when X was, what was it, 3.5? Was that correct? 3.5. Yeah, 3.5, we said Y was 7, yes? Okay. So what we're doing, it's like we're creating a mini list, and that's okay. And what we're going to do, and we will learn this, we'll do it again next term, but what we're going to do is we're going to get the equation from those lists. So the way we do that, we press menu, and I'll write this out for us in a minute. So we press menu, stats, stat calc. Now we were using one variable when we were doing univariate data, but now we want to go down. Can you see there it says linear regression and A plus BX? So that's the one we want. Now what this is saying is, because remember, we're not gonna always call it X, and we're not always gonna call it Y. So here, if you've called it something else, you can go find your list. But we called it X and Y, so I'll just pop that in. Once you've done those two, that's okay. That's all you have to do, and you click OK. Now, can you see here, we've dropped down all the data. Now, can you see it says A is 2? Is that what we got? Yes. And what else is there? The B value? And then what's 1.4? That's what we got. So we could write the equation out. And it's going to tell us everything in one go. So this will work even if it's not 0. Just find 2 points the line goes through. So let's go and have a go. And we'll do that one for this one. So what we're going to do is I'll write out the steps on this one. So first step is to find 2 points. Find 2 points the line is going through. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to do that. So I'm going to pick, so here, I could pick here, they have given this looks like 0 and 200. Okay, now I'm finding one that it goes exactly through. So this looks like, I don't know, there looks good. Just so I could read it off easily. So X is 14 and, well, and what is it saying? Y is 1600. Now, this is a case where they're not really calling it X and Y. They're calling it V and T. So the second step we're going to do, so the second step is we're going to create a mini list with the 2 points, mini lists with 2 points in our calculator. Okay, so let's go do that. So I'm going to go, so home, remember we're going to go lists and spreadsheets. And this way, I'm going to actually call it T just to show you guys. So, and then this one V. So when T is on the x-axis, so it's the one I'm going to write first. So 0 and 200. And then I've got 14 and 1600. Okay, so we do that. Now, do you remember what we said? We go menu, statistics, stat calculation, and down to A plus BX. So this X1, X for me is actually T, and Y for me in this case is actually V. So I've put those two lists, that's what I called them, and I click OK, and here we go. Now, is the y-intercept 200? It is, isn't it? Because that's where it's crossed. It is 0. We can see that one. But we also have found the gradient is 100. So once we've done that, so let's go quickly write that. So into the calculator, we created two lists. So we had T and V, and we had our two lists. So we had 0 and 200 and 14 and 1600. Then we pressed menu. I think it was stat calc. And then we went linreg. I just call it linreg and the A plus BX, yeah? And then the X list you said was the T, and the Y list you said was the V. Okay, so now I can just simply write out my equation. Now, I'm not going to write Y, because remember the basic one is Y, but it's actually volume. And volume equals my A value, which was 200. And then plus B was 100, wasn't it? Yeah? And then I'm going to say times T. So if you just want to write up this is like my X. This is like my Y. This is the A value. And that was the B value, which we found here. So we found that A was 200 and B was 100. Okay. All right. So let me just quickly do one more. Okay. So remember, we only need, so if I go to do this one, we only need 2 points. So I've got this one's, they've marked it out nicely for me. So I've got 1 and 25,000. And then I've got this one is 9 and 5,000. Okay, so they're using V and T. So whatever we want to do, we could use V and T again. So we're going to pop them in. So just go into lists and spreadsheets. Now, because I've already used V and T, I should probably go Control N. I'm going to start a new document. Do I want to save it? No. So, and obviously you're not going to get multiple questions with the same thing. They will change your variables. So, actually, so I'm going to put T first, so you remember, and V. So I've got 1 and 25,000. Now, what do we think? Is this a positive gradient or a negative gradient? Is it going down or up? Down. So we should have what? A positive B or a negative B? Negative. Good. So this is where you should be looking out for this. And that way you'll know, oh yeah, I've done it right or wrong. So let's have a look now. We want to get the equation. So we're going to go menu, stat calculations, A plus BX. I changed it to T, Y is V, click OK. So A is 21,875. Because you can't really read that off there, could you? Like I can't exactly see where it crosses. It was 5,000 off 50,000. Oh, sorry. Okay, yep. Let's go change that. Oh, there it changed it. Sorry. So 27, yep, sorry, we typed that wrong. So we've got 27,500 for our A and negative 2,000. So there's the negative B. So if we wrote this one out, we'd write volume equals 27,500 minus 2,500 T. So just to remind you, that's actually the Y. This is the X. That was the A value, and that was the B value. So just remember, you are picking 2 points the line goes through. So remember to pick 2 points the line goes through. Not the dots, the line goes through. So it may go through one of the dots, but let's come a look. So I might look, I'm going to use this one because it's halfway, so I can say, all right. So I'm going to say this one is 3 and maybe 22.5. So it's halfway. And then, I don't know, I've got to pick, and this one looks like it's exactly, so I'm going to do that one. It's crossing the line, so I'm going to use 5 and 25. So there's the ones I've picked, and now I'm going to go do it on the calc. So my video is going to run out. All right. So let's go and put those two on our calculator. Now,